Hi there, good evening. Welcome to Sportsday with me, Chetan Pathak. Coming up on tonight's programme, a group of former footballers and politicians call for an urgent review into the possible link between heading of football and dementia. Got the latest on tonight's League Cup quarter-finals with Mikel Arteta's Arsenal already knocked out. We ask, what next for the under-pressure boss? And is it the end of extravagant Olympic opening ceremonies like this as organisers of the Tokyo Games announce a simpler, stripped-back version for next year? Welcome to the programme. Thank you for joining us. So a group of former footballers and politicians have today joined forces in calling for an urgent review into the possible link between heading a ball and brain damage. A letter addressed to the Culture Secretary, Oliver Dowden, has been signed by 9 ex-players asking the government to assess its current guidelines. Former footballers are 3.5 times more likely to die of dementia than the general population. And 5 members of England's 1966 World Cup winning squad have been diagnosed with it, including Nobby Stiles, who died in October. The former Chelsea and Charlton player Mickey Ambrose is one of those behind this letter. Mickey joins me now. Mickey, thanks for joining us on Sports Day. What does this letter say?
Well, basically, the letter is saying that, we want the DCMS really to interview the Football Association in particular, and the PFA. And, the researchers have been done, but, it's taken nearly 20 years since the passing of the West Bromwich Albion stalwart player, Jeff Astle. So we want government now to step in because we can't rely on governing bodies anymore. I'm sorry. We just can't rely on the Football Association and the PFA. They've had plenty of time now to look into this in more depth. And this letter, as you just mentioned, signed by ex-players, we want some action.
And when you talk about action, what would you like to see, Mickey? We know, for example, that children under 12, for example, not heading the ball in training now in England, Scotland and Northern Ireland. What more would you like to see being done?
Well, we like the DCMS to challenge the Football Association and the PFA. We want them to challenge the research that they've done already, which has taken them 20 years to do, by the way. That's a bit of a joke, to be frank. It's scandalous in this day and age that, the amount of money in football, we're thinking of the next generation of players as well. Amateur football, not just the Premier League. We're talking about football across the board. Amateur, women's football is the fastest growing sport. Young kids, boys and girls are taking up football, down in Bethnal Green right now as we speak, in Poplar or places like that where they're playing football. So we want more funding. That's number one. And we want the research to be looked into in terms of it being recognised as an industrial disease, because it is.
Mickey, do you sense there's a momentum now behind this? We've seen in rugby union, for example, former players launching legal action for negligence against rugby unions authorities. Do you see that there is a move now towards change growing across all sports?
I think so. I think so because, I'm sorry to say I keep doing interviews for a number of organisations like yourself, and it seems like I'm hammering the FA every 5 minutes. But these are people in a position of trust and authority. You can't continue to just sidestep and sweep under the carpet. Dawn Astle, the daughter of the late Jeff Astle, has been campaigning for nearly 20 years. I even think they got a letter at the time from the FA telling the Astle family not to pursue any legal action because of the passing of their dad. That is absolutely scandalous. I'm not saying, of course, it was the FA, the senior executives that are there now, but this is a 157-year organisation formed in 1863, yet it's taken 20 years to get to this stage. We just want action. We want to see more funding from the FA and PFA. Gordon Taylor earned £20 million during his tenure. That was his salary, yet they spent over just about £80,000 researching dementia and the heading of football. I'm sorry, it's just absolutely ridiculous why I have to keep coming on programmes battling against organisations that are in a position of trust. They're the sporting governing body. They're the ones that should be looking after the youngsters who are playing football as we speak right now, and the amateur side and the professional side. It's just scandalous.
Well, Mickey, I know you're not the only former player making this argument. We had Chris Sutton on recently as well. We wish you all the best with the campaign. Mickey Ambrose there.